Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're gonna be ranking every single FNaF game. Well, at least the main ones in the series. So that's right, you heard it here, folks. We're gonna be taking a look at all the games that took place, all the mysteries at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, all those games in one video, being ranked to see which one is the best. So in this list, I'm ranking them for their good story, good jump scares, good characters, and a little bit more, but that's mainly everything. So don't forget to check out all of my other videos, because if you guys know, at this point I've been doing a lot of FNaF videos, and they've been doing pretty good actually, so don't forget to check out the series, like the FNaF Explained series. But without further ado, let's get into this, and don't forget to like this video, and I don't know, share this to your friends or whatever. I don't know, I hope you like the video, and let's begin. So now, let's start off with the most obvious choice, and one that you guys probably expected to see at the worst, or at least the one that I don't exactly like. FNaF frickin' 3. Now, this game had a very good selection of characters, and it was pretty cool. It was very scary, well, not as much, though. I don't know, it was pretty cool. Like, the mini-games were actually pretty cool. They explained a lot, but that's just really it, honestly. There's nothing else, really. First off, let's just say there's a lot you gotta do in this. Not as much as FNaF 2, but you still have to manage a lot, and some of it isn't exactly as interesting. It's just not really an interesting game, though. Surely there is a lot of lore behind it, but aside from all that, it's just not interesting or fun. I mean, first off, I can't even get past Night 3 for some reason, because it's like I keep dying to stupid Springtrap, because in order for him to stay away, you have to play the stupid audio, and the thing is, it can only reach for a certain amount of rooms. Not to mention, also, the camera is so bad, meaning, like, when you go into the monitor, it's just so bad. It takes a while for it to glitch. You can't even see anything. Like, it's so hard to tell whether there's a character coming your way or if it's just, like, a statue or something. Like, it's just annoying. I mean, I like the idea of it, you know, like, for instance, I like how the phantom animatronics don't kill you, though they do sort of mess up your gameplay, but it just wasn't that fun, and comparing it to just the other games, it's not as good. It gets lame. It is pretty difficult, which is annoying. I don't know, but the cool things about it, too, is Springtrap. I mean, Springtrap was pretty cool, and he turns out to get a little cooler, but I don't know, there just wasn't really anything interesting aside from Springtrap and the Phantom animatronics. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I think you guys know what I'm referring to. But yeah, so the way the game was, it just wasn't that good. I think this was one of those games that was just overhyped. Like, at the time, people were so hyped for this game, and when they played it, and even when I played it, I was just so disappointed, honestly. But yes, that's really just what I have to say, so let's get on to the next game. Coming up in the next spot, I know some of you guys are probably not going to agree with me on this one, and I can totally agree. FNaF 4 is a pretty good game. I mean, it was scary, not to mention there was a lot of lore in this one, with the whole bite of 83 or 87, even though it's almost confirmed that it was the bite of 83 for many reasons, but we're not going to get into that in this video. That's another video. But I don't know, it's something about this game I just kind of didn't like. It is very hard. You know, I'm just going to say this right now, they're all hard, but I mean, at least, like, I don't know, I like the story in this one, but it's so confusing. I wish they could just explain it to us in some better way, you know, like maybe give us a date or anything like that. I don't know, it was very tedious. There was, the jump scares weren't as great, actually. I'm not gonna lie, the characters were really good, but when you think of it, when you watch the jump scares, they're very slow, and just nothing very interesting, honestly. I don't really know. I like how they did something new, and it's almost like a free roam game, but at the same time, it's not. But that doesn't mean it's not a good game. It's just, I don't know, it's very tedious, and we don't know much about it, or at the end, really. I don't know. It's an okay game. I don't hate this game, though. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Like, FNaF 3, I'd give like a 6 or 6.5 out of 10, but this is like a solid 7, maybe 7.1 out of 10, but it's still a pretty cool game. Just, I wish we can get more of a better explanation, and the jump scares would be a bit better, because they're very slow. Like, I don't know if you guys know what I mean, but yeah. But I think we should also get into the reasons why this game is also good at the same time. The characters were good. The minigames are pretty interesting, I will say that. I wish we could have gotten more of an explanation. Like, for instance, with the Foxy guy, who I do feel like is Michael, but some theories have proven that Michael is the crying child, whatever. But yeah, but other than that, it is a pretty cool game, but just not one of the best. But cool characters, though. That's another thing. Cool, very cool characters. But let's just get into the next game now. Now, here's the game that everyone was just surprised. Like, they just got a slap in the face when they heard this. Now, I don't necessarily hate this game, but I guess this is kind of a good spot to put this game. There's a lot to talk about with this game. First off, let's just get into the good stuff, and then we'll get into the stuff that they could have maybe improved. But yeah, so let's just say at least almost everybody is in this. At least everyone at the time, since this was made in, like, what, 2017 or something? This was before, at the time, where we got some new characters, but still, at least all the main characters are in this, the lovable ones, and then the ones we hate. And it is really cool. Like, first off, you get enough points, and you can unlock something, which you can see right here. I unlocked another office. Not to mention, I love how we got, like, little looks at, like, little intermissions that, in some sort of code, kind of show us the drama between certain characters. Like, for instance, this one with Foxy and Freddy. It's something to do with, like, Henry and William, which I do love. But yeah, and then there's the Toy Chico one, the high school years, which is coming up soon. And I will make a video on soon. That at first I didn't understand, but when you kind of look closely at it, you can sort of tell it's like William thinking of what he's going to do with his victims. But yeah, so it is a really cool game. But now let's just get into the stuff I kind of don't like the game, or I just felt could have been improved, but at the same time, this is what everyone asks for. But here are some things I kind of dislike. First off, it's freaking hard. Like, this game is probably one of the hardest FNaF games, aside from Pizza Simulator, which we'll get into soon. But just this game is just so freaking hard. Like, the challenges and everything, like, all these characters have different things, like, now. Like, for instance, with Toy Freddy, you have to keep him in front of some sort of TV or something, which is new. And I just didn't like how they did that, because now it's like you expect those characters to be easy when they really aren't. But I like how it's, like, challenging, and you can do something with the levels, but still. Also, I like how they sort of tell you the story of all the characters in some sort of way, but at the same time, I wish they could have just told us already, honestly. Like, just referencing Toy Chica as William Afton it's kind of confusing. I understand it now, but at the same time, it is a bit confusing, though. And it's also weird, but still. Other than that, it is still a pretty good game, and I like it. I play it all the time. It's just fun, and even when you're not trying to unlock the intermissions, it's still fun to just, like, mess around with, or, well, not really mess around with. It's, as one of the YouTubers said, it's nothing you should mess around with, but it's still just fun to play, but extremely, extremely hard. Now, anyway, well, with all that said, let's get into the next game that is sort of like this, but at the same time, not really. And now we've got this game. Honestly, I wasn't really sure what the point of this game was at first. When I first heard about it, like 3 years ago or 4 years ago now, I was kind of confused to see, like, what it was about. Like, when I first saw this part, for instance, I was like, okay, where are they getting with this? And then as I saw what happened as they went on, I was like, alright, so you're customizing your own pizzeria, but all that other stuff, like the whole salvage. I do like the idea, though, and it is a really fun game, honestly. Like, this is, at this point in the list, this is where the games start to get a bit better. Like, but yeah. But I just like this game. Like, for instance, I love all the lore that was added in, which we'll be getting into. There's a lot of cool stuff. Like, I like this part, too, but I also don't like how, after you complete this part, you can't do it again, ever. But yeah. So other than that, this is a pretty cool game. But let's get into some of the stuff that I like. First off, I love how we were able to get a little bit more of an information about Charlie. See, I just love this. I love how we get more of a backstory of the puppet. Since when you first saw the puppet, you thought, oh, I guess it's another animatronic. But no, there's more to the story. I just like how they did that. I love how they also gave the story of Chica, or otherwise known as, in the ending, with the gravestones, Susie, who, yes, is Chica. I love how they gave story, like, there was something very special, well, not special, but there was a certain way William sort of lured them in. I love how they gave the names at the end of the 4 main animatronics, though, but we're guessing that the tombstone that was covered out was probably like either Charlotte or Cassidy, who is Golden Freddy, which is another video. I just like how they did that, though. It was just nice, and I like how they did all that stuff. Not to mention, I love the idea of how you can just like customize your own pizzeria. It's so cool. But yeah, but the things I hate about this game, well, where do we begin? Okay, I know it's kind of sounding like I don't like the game. I do. It's very hard. Like I don't know which is harder, Custom Night or this. Probably Custom Night. Yes, Custom Night is a lot harder. I don't know. It's just I like how the game is hard, but at the same time I don't like it. It's just it kind of took the fun out of the game though. But I do know that not all Freddy games are easy, but still it was just a little annoying. But I also love how at the end, basically, mainly it was just the endings and stuff like that. I love how Henry's speech and all that. That's really what I love, and also the mini games. So now here's another one of those games that just kind of just came out of nowhere. Honestly, just one day you're on YouTube, and next thing you know, you hear about this new FNaF game called. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Ta-da! Help Wanted. Now, when I first heard about this game, I was like, oh, yay, another FNaF game's coming out. But when I actually played it, and I first played it on the VR. Of course, this is iPad footage. I thought this was so cool, honestly. It was just so interesting. I love how they kind of recreated the Five Nights at Freddy games, if you could see right here, and adding new things like the parts and service. We were able to get a closer look on how people or how the employees kind of fixed the animatronics, and I just thought that was so interesting. There was just so much in this game that was really cool, like how we just got to see all of our favorite FNaF games get recreated into this pretty good graphic game, actually, with amazing jump scares. But yeah, it was just really cool, and now it's pretty much on everything. It's on the VR, Switch, iPad, mobile. I think Android. It's just a really cool game, and that's really it. Not to mention, the ending was pretty interesting. How we were introduced to a new character who some people are predicting theories has to do with the new Security Breach game, which I can't rank yet because it hasn't come out yet. But yeah, the glitch trap. Now, but with all that said, some things I don't like about the game. First off, I don't really know. It was basically just the same thing, just with better graphics and some more different things. Though it was cool, but also I hate how in this the camera is like so freaking small. I don't know, but those are really the only things. It's still a really cool game and nothing else really, just a lot better than like, I don't know, it just looks cool. But yeah. And now another game that I was hyped about when I was like in the second grade, I think. Yeah, about that. No, maybe third, I don't know. This game was really good, actually. So now this is coming up at third place, is Sister Location, a game I heard about. It's been around for at least 4 years now. But yeah, it was such a cool game, honestly. I love how it introduced us to so many new things, new characters, a little bit more about William's family, including about Michael, Elizabeth, who is Circus Baby, which I did a video on. We even got to hear William's voice for the first time, I guess, or at least in a more clear way. At least before he became Springtrap. And I thought that was so cool, and it's a pretty creepy game. I also love how it had a nice sense of humor, including the whole angsty teen and, yeah, something bongos thing. To be honest with you, there's really nothing wrong with this game except for the fact that, again, it is pretty hard, and I wish we could have gotten a little bit more backstory on Michael, again, because seriously. Also, I wish we could have had a clear explanation of how he became Purple Guy. Well, I understand it a bit now, but at the same time, when I first played the game, because since I was pretty young at the time, I had no clue what the heck was happening, honestly, except for the fact that some guy was just becoming some sort of purple thing. But aside from that, it is still a really good game, and I just love all the characters like Funtime Freddy, Funtime Foxy, and including Circus Baby. Now, coming up at second place is FNaF number 2. This was actually the first FNaF game I ever played. I remember I heard about it, and I was like, eh. Then I played the second one when it came out, because I saw my friend play it, and I decided to play it. Then I was like, this is actually pretty cool. I played the first one, and then I played the other ones, and now I've started the series. I remember when I first played this, it was so cool. I love the idea of how you can multitask. Some people were annoyed with it, but to be honest with you, it really isn't that hard when you get the hang of it. Like, I was able to at least complete the game all in one try. I don't know, just some people kind of over-exaggerate or just say it's so hard because you have to multitask, when meanwhile, it really isn't that hard. I also love how we were introduced to the puppet, who had a really, really interesting backstory when you figure it out. And also, there were really cool characters, and there's a lot of lore behind it, seen as how people have theorized that this was supposed to happen before even the first FNaF game happened, which I like. But yeah, I just do love the game. It was so interesting. I love the whole Freddy mask thing and how like all the new characters were just so cool, and I just loved it. But yeah, but it definitely deserves a spot in the second place. It isn't my favorite FNaF game. It was the first one I played, but it still deserves this spot. And now the number one spot that pretty much goes over every single FNaF game that I've basically talked about in this entire 18-minute video goes to Five Nights at Freddy's number one. And there's a lot to say about this game. I'd just say how good this game has held up since 2014. I mean, it's the game that started it all. It's fun. Just there's nothing wrong with this game, honestly. It's a normal FNaF game before all the drama. Well, before like all these theories and arguments and stuff. It's all in all just a good game with a basic amount of characters, 5 characters, just no multitasking, no weird cutscenes that don't explain anything when you first watch it. Not to mention, there were a lot of Easter eggs that, when you actually go back to playing this game, they actually answer or kind of start new theories. And I really like that. It's the game that started all, the second FNaF game I ever played. And yeah, it was just a fun game, and I love it still. Sometimes I'll still just play the game straight through, and I don't get bored. But yeah. And this is also when the characters were actually normal and there wasn't any of that like ghost or anything like that, like Phantom or Nightmare or whatever it was, even though some of that stuff was before this game or the timeline. But yeah, just all in all, just a cool and basic game. Nothing wrong with it, and yeah. Just a game that started everything all and still holds up to this day after its past 6 to 7 years. But yeah, that's all I have to say, and I hope you enjoyed this ranking video. This was a hard list, and I hope I don't get any hate comments, even though I feel like I am.